Where the white women at?
I saw one. This week on the Squatchers Lunch Podcast, David and the Reverend Jeff do the Idaho Bigfoot. You know, the meldrum kind. That's right. There's a lot more to Idaho than just white supremacists and militia compounds. I mean, the thing's connected to Washington and Montana. Just think about it, right? And we'll probably do some news. Insert obligatory platitudes and nonsense here. We're late. Let's go, folks. The Reverend Jeff Kelly.
That's right. The Howard Stern of Bigfooting. I'm the Reverend Jeff with a beard than you've ever seen before. As with me always is a newly bearded Dr. David Batdorf, Esquire. How you doing, Mr. Pseudoscientist?
Oh, you know, just regrowing the beard. I'm not quite to the I don't need the salve yet, but getting there.
Yeah. The little baby beard is growing in. You know, it's good to see for the winter. I had shared a Facebook memory from 2 years ago today on my timeline that was a picture of me trying not to puke on baby Elijah as I was waiting for my plane to come back home from investigating with David. Oh, what a miserable trip that was. But the memories were still cool.
The memories are still scarring and will always be.
But I look at your kid
and my
now,
toilet
like,
will never be the same.
Ooh, that downstairs bathroom should have probably been burnt. Anyhow, as usual, this time of the night, we usually do talk about some Bigfoot news, and there is a little bit on the table. So let's get to some interesting links and talk about some fun topics tonight. That's right. Family flees home after finding spiders, which can cause a 4-hour erection followed by death in ASDA bananas. Hallelujah. That's right. A family fled their home after finding dozens of the world's deadliest spider crawling out of a bunch of bananas. Forklift truck driver Ashley Gamble said his partner Sophia, that's interesting, Newcomb, was unpacking shopping when she noticed a small white cocoon on the side of the bananas and dropped them in a panic. Dozens of the Brazilian wandering spiders, among the most venomous in the world, then began falling out. Creepy. Yeah. Mr. Gamble said he tried to use a Hoover to suck up the arachnids, but fears that some may have escaped. It was like something out of a horror movie. Wow, yummy.
It was like some horror movie I can't quite put my finger on. It might be something about a fear of some kind.
Phobia.
But so here's my question though. But if they were baby spiders, and if adult spider gives you a 4-hour erection ending in death, would the baby spider give you a 2-hour erection? And maybe wishing for death by the end, but
hey, now give them a chance to pharmacize it, and Big Pharma will figure it out.
Exactly. Sure. Big Pharma, baby spiders, Cialis coming up.
Probably where Viagra came from in the first place. Actually, I came from heart medicine. Anyhow, hey, we're on to the fucking creepy clowns. All right, I've already ruined our rated PG-13 tonight. So reports of the rogue clowns in Westmoreland were unfounded, but sightings in other counties confirmed. This is now Pennsylvania. So we went from South Carolina to North Carolina. We skipped Maryland and Virginia and Delaware for some reason.
Well, Virginia is pretty good. They're used to the killer clowns anyway.
Right. They're probably happening, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And we know where all the clowns in Washington, D.C. are.
Is that Steve again?
Steven, damn it, what are you doing in that? Anyhow, despite a post on social media claiming multiple sightings of clowns in Westmoreland County, a 911 supervisor told Channel 11 News that there was no such sightings. No one's called into the news. The Facebook post from Westmoreland Alert. So there's false reports coming in. However, it was a different story in Fayette and Cambria counties. That's right. The Albert Galatian. That's right. I used to live there. I should be able to pronounce that. Area School District Masontown Elementary School sent a letter home to parents Wednesday, detailing the students had been coming to school and talking about people dressed as clowns. Now, clowns are people dressed like clowns. No, jackass. It's definitely people dressed like clowns. The Masontown police chief confirmed that they have been several sightings of people dressed as clowns in Masontown and surrounding areas. Police are responding with increased presence at the school around the neighborhood. And here is karma going to kick all these people right in the ass. $200,000 bond set for Flomaton woman posing as a creepy ass clown. That's right, bitch. $200,000 bond has been set for Michaela Smith, 22 of Flomaton, Alabama, for her part in the Flomo clown incident.
Yeah,
thought it was funny, right?
In
That's
prison.
$2 million. It's a $2 million bail if it's a $200,000 bond. Somebody ain't playing. Homie ain't playing that.
Yeah, so pretty much let's make the point, but a little bit of prison time, maybe something on your record versus maybe getting stabbed in the face by Jeff Kelly.
Exactly. Getting stabbed in the neck with a knife by the Reverend Jeff. Careful. I'm just telling you. All right. 10 survival myths that'll get your ass killed. That's right. These are important to remember. Myth: you can suck out the venom of a snake bite. No, all you're going to do is poison yourself. Don't do that stupid shit. Plus, you're going to put a lot of bacteria right into the wound. It's going to pump right in behind that venom into their bloodstream. So, thanks.
Why don't I just rub my asshole right on it? Yeah, like so. Tourniquet, people. Tourniquet.
That's right. I heard feces helps. Let's pack it with feces. Always play dead when you're attacked by a bear. No, that's a bad idea. In fact, if you're out in the woods and you see a bear, the general advice is to quietly back away. It depends on what kind of bear you're dealing with. If it's in your yard or around your campsite, make yourself large and loud. You should kind of always do that with a black bear. You should hopefully scare it off. But in the case of attack, your reaction strategy should depend on the bear. See, they kind of got that all screwed up, but we'll be all right. Never play dead if it's a black bear because he's going to eat you.
Yeah, the difference is, play dead. That means, okay, an animal that there's absolutely like... there is no defense, so you just cover your head and neck and shoulders and hope for the best.
Cover your brainstem and hope he doesn't turn you off like a light switch.
So the reason that they tell you to play dead and what they should really explain to you is like, okay, if a grizzly bear attacks you, you have absolutely no recourse. It's going to tear your scalp off, but cover your neck so it doesn't sever your spinal cord. Lay on your front, quote, play dead, so it doesn't eviscerate your intestinal tract all over everywhere.
So the worst thing it does is carve up your back with its claws. And
and all of your organs are for the most
haven't you seen the Reverend
protected.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is
unless they get into your liver or your kidneys or anything else.
You can live without one kidney. I mean,
but they'll bleed out in 90 seconds if he punctures them.
Well,
there's that.
You're probably going to bleed out anyway, but at least you did your best. If the bear gets bored,
you prolong your death as long as possible.
Exactly.
So
I always love, like, with a moose, like, if a moose attacks you, feign death by curling into a ball and covering your neck. I'm like, feign death. That's a situation I know. Like, maybe I should feign death. What should I do in that circumstance where I wish to feign death? Probably not your best case scenario.
Yeah, next myth up. You need to find a food supply immediately if you're lost in the wilderness. No, not true. Most of our fat asses can go for about 6 weeks before you start to go on food blind. So, the very first thing you want to get is water, because you can't live with 3 days without that good stuff, and shelter from the extremities, because that shit will kill you overnight. So usually, because I can go 3 days without water, I'm thinking shelter first. There's a reason we set up a tent and camp first.
Exposure first, water next, sleep after that. Food is like way down the line.
And remember, if you're lost in the woods amongst the pine trees, you can literally eat pine meat for months before you'll starve to death. So don't be a dumbass.
Yeah, you don't want to, but you can.
But you can. That's the point of it. The Native Americans did it in wintertime because it was tough for long before we ever thought about it. So it can be done. Boil that stuff up and eat the crap out of it. No, it don't taste good, but at least you'll be alive. Myth: the fluid in cactus can save you from dying of thirst. Well, it depends on which cactus, because most of them will kill you, dumbass. If you're experienced enough to pick out the one kind of barrel cactus that you can filter water from safely, it might work. but most of the time, cactus filled with fluids will make you sick, causing you to vomit up the precious liquid you do have and die. That's right. Cactus do not save your life. Sit in the shade of a cactus, please. Put up your tarp on a cactus and stay under that cactus until the sun goes down, and then move off and find water. That's my recommendation to you in the sun.
First off, don't get lost in the sun.
Yeah, that's just.
I'd be much happier in the.
Except for Rick, he's a dick.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get lost in the sun.
Okay, there we go.
Moss grows on the north side of a tree, unless you're in the Pacific Northwest. Then moss grows on all sides of a tree because it's really, really wet up there. I used to believe this myth, and the truth is moss is heaviest on the north side because it has the least amount of sun exposure to it. For some reason, moss grows better out of the sun.
That is true. However, if you're in densely forested areas, then it grows wherever the fuck it wants to.
Yeah, but if you don't know that the sun sets, rises in the east and sets in the west, then you're an idiot. So I don't really know how these people can't find north.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when the sun's to your right, kind of point one way. When the sun's to your left, well, you kind of point the other. Anyhow,
well, yeah, but the kind of person who actually like has reference of like, oh, well, here's my general topographical reference for where I am. Downhill goes southwest. Okay, from where I am. Those aren't the people getting lost, by the way.
Right. That is very, very, very true. Myth: if an animal eats something, it's safe for you to eat. Am I eating the animal, or am I eating what the animal's eating? Because if I see animals eating shit, I'm eating those animals. I'm not eating what they're eating.
Yeah, if there's a wild pig, eating up some mushrooms, you probably shouldn't eat the mushrooms, and you probably shouldn't kill that wild pig for at least long enough to run that through the liver, clean it out, whatever.
Apparently birds and squirrels can eat certain berries and mushrooms that would kill a person. So no, that's not true. Yeah. Rub someone's skin or put them in a hot tub to warm them up if they're freezing. Well, okay. Rubbing frostburned skin is going to rip it from the body and probably do more damage than anything else. So don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't put anybody in the hot tub either. Take them to the hospital if they're that fucked up. I don't know. I mean, how are you going to get that way? Hypothermia? Hypothermia. Blankets, more blankets and more blankets.
Yeah, hypothermia and frostbite is you want a slow warming process, but typically you don't want to do that if there's a hospital available.
That's right. Myth: if a shark attacks you, punch it in the nose. Well, I don't think a shark exactly has a nose, so good luck with that. But it's really hard to land a solid punch of the nose of a moving shark
without ending up in its mouth somehow.
In the rare cases where a shark comes in for a bite that you can actually see and defend, would be like getting struck by lightning twice on the same day. Try to put a solid object between you and the animal. Really? What solid object is
solid? Like my fist, possibly.
Surfboard, whatever. Claw at its eyes and gills. That's right. Rawr, like a tiger. If you grab a hold of a shark by its gills, it's going to run away quickly. You don't even have to worry about jabbing anything sharp in it. Literally, if you're brave enough to reach up, stick your hand in the gills of a shark, that shark's going to haul ass. It's never had that done to it before, and it's just going to freak out.
Whoa. I didn't say we could go there. I mean, it was just a love bite.
I didn't say you could touch that, man. I said you give me a kiss. Damn.
And I'm pretty sure they're talking about, like, smaller, like if
that's like skipping second base and going right
sharks.
to third.
Most other sharks, like, really, like, they've already bitten you. You don't defend an attack by punching it in the nose. Like, it's like, it's biting my leg, and so I'm beating the shit out of it until it lets go, or doesn't, or takes the chunk out of my leg, whatever. Yeah. Or in the case of the great white, as shown here, as like, oh, great. At 35 miles per hour, I was just hit by a great white shark that I didn't see from anywhere. Okay, good.
Myth: it's always swim parallel to shore if you're caught in a rip current. Well, it depends on which way the rip current's going. I mean, really? Yeah. I mean, rip currents can go side to side. They can go front to back. All depends on which way the rip current's going. A rip current is scary. And believe me, coming from a Florida boy who, before he realized that shit would eat him in the ocean, swam in the ocean a lot. Rip currents are no joke. If you get caught in one, you can be like ripped out to sea like 500 yards. 500 yards doesn't seem like a long way until you can't get back in because that rip current's like as fast as you're trying to swim in. It's faster, still pushing you out.
You're just stuck out there.
So next thing you know, you're 800 yards out from shore, and the dude with the orange frisbee is blowing his whistle at you, going, "Sir, can you come in, please?
Can you please stop? Oh, you're drowning just too far for me to get."
Then whistles go off, and girls jump off of their towers, and sirens go off, and you're all embarrassed, and they pull you in without any underwear on. I mean, it just, because the rip current ripped it off. You didn't take it off, jackass. You're just out there bare-assed, and there ain't nothing to do about it. So be careful of the rip current.
And don't swim parallel to the shore. You still want to swim towards the shore, I'm pretty sure.
It's you want to get an angle to get out of the rip current, and believe me, be a strong swimmer if you're going to swim around rip currents. Myth: a lean-to is a great shelter. A lean-to is a great starter shelter. Okay, if all you've got is a few hours, you can build a lean-to up, set a fire. You'll be out of the elements for the night, but you need to improve it the next couple of days. Don't just stick with it. If this is going to be a shelter to protect you from something, it should have sides. It should most definitely have a floor to insulate you from the ground, whether that's pine boughs, a tarp, something to reflect your heat back up. I don't care. Lay an emergency blanket down, fine. But you should definitely improve your shelter as time goes on to even enclose it into a shack. That's how things work. It progresses. This is a good starter shelter.
Good starter shelter. A lean 3 or 4 is optimal.
Right, a lean 4 with a door is usually the best way to go. So there's your 10 myths. IFL science, as we always do. All right, Science Alert says the crazy government conspiracy theory inspired Stranger Things. That's right. Apparently, it turns out that Netflix sci-fi hit Stranger Things resembles a very closely an alleged, I'm saying alleged, real-life government experiment known as the Montauk Project.
The Montauk Project.
The Montauk Project. That's right. The Montauk Project is proclaimed. I would walk 500 miles. Sorry. They'd actually get to France if they walked 500 the first time, and they would get to Sweden if they walked 500 more. The Montauk Project is claimed to have...
Which they just have to make it to Long Island, basically.
Exactly, pretty much. Government experiments that were done at Camp Hero or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, Long Island. Stories of the experiments have circulated since the 1980s, saying that they focused on psychological warfare techniques and things like time travel, teleportation, and mind control.
Men who stare at goats.
That's right, man. Who stare at goats? That's right. That was a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, it
was. Though the stories, many of which from supposed repressed memories, are not all confirmed and should be taken with a grain of salt. That's right. There's your government cover-up sentence for the topic. And Stranger Things, while the show was originally titled Montauk when it was picked up by Netflix, and the synopsis reported by Slash Films makes it pretty clear the creators were inspired by those repressed memories.
Those nicely repressed memories brought out under regressional hypnosis, baby. Yeah,
no, Uncle Daddy, don't touch me like that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or the alien probed me is how that came out.
All right, here it is. Mindflip released this the other day, a poster for Trail of Terror, a film within a film for the Mindflip feature Trail of Terror. Trailer coming true. A Ken Rowe film, Trail of Terror, starring Tabitha Bainstein as Marilyn Mamrie.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring Satake as the Deep Woods Don Juan, with Norman Newkirk as the voice of doom. Special effects makeup and creature design by Doug Hudson. I don't know if this is like, Doug's first porno or what the deal is, but I'm digging it. I'm just digging it.
I want to be in on the Bigfoot Evidence Weekly when this airs. This is happening.
The Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly. Yes.
Yeah.
Monday.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Right here at youtube.com/SLounge podcast. That's right. Check it out. Mindflip on Facebook. Okay. Liberals are absolutely outraged that Trump's son killed a Triceratops. Apparently, Mark Dice,
another Triceratops.
yeah, another Triceratops bites the dust. I thought they were on the endangered species list. Apparently, Trump's sons killed a Triceratops, and people are just outraged about it. He's done some pretty ridiculous videos over the years. This guy is hysterical. He went out onto the street and asked people what they thought about Trump's son killing a Triceratops. And they're like, oh, well, that's just awful, because, people shouldn't kill Triceratopses because ain't them theirs endangered? I mean, the guy, people are just stupid on this planet. They really are. I mean, ever since them people brought it back to Jurassic Park, I thought they was protected.
Yeah, I've actually seen, like, the first time this circulated, like a while ago, I actually had some folks that were in my news feed that were commenting on how tragic this was. I'm like, that's a dinosaur. They've been extinct for tens of millions of years.
How humans be? They can be this damn.
And how does this keep coming back and back and back? No. Anyway,
hey, dispatches from the LPOP manning the BCR listed in post observation post since March 2010. That's right. In the Lee Peacock blogspot.com, 3 brothers report seeing Bigfoot in Pine Orchard, Alabama. That's right. When a strange Bigfoot-like creature was reportedly seen near the Sublaga.
Okay, river. I just want to bring this up. Like, how many times have we said the words Bigfoot-like creature on this show? And what does that mean?
Bigfoot isn't even proven. So what the hell is a Bigfoot-like?
It's a Bigfoot-like creature. So do you either mean a human or a Bigfoot or a?
It's either a clown or a person in a clown outfit.
Yeah. Was that a real clown or a person in a clown outfit? So a Bigfoot-like creature. Let's just say I saw Bigfoot.
Yeah. Going back as far as 2009, they suspected that a Bigfoot-type creature roamed the woods near their homes at Pine Orchard, and their suspicions were confirmed when they actually saw the damn thing in August of 2015. The Anchorman brothers, Wesley, Virgil, and Roman, said that they heard vocalizations from the creature in June 2009 when they lived in a small house on a country road 5 on the, I can't pronounce that side of the highway, between Rama Church and Monroe County Road 42. In an interview with the Current last Thursday, the brothers Virgil and Wesley said at first they didn't know what was making them sounds, but their experienced hunters knew it wasn't something ordinary. Aren't no bear.
Nope, it was a Bigfoot-like creature.
I would describe it as a howl or holler, and Wesley, a 51-year-old minister, said it was really loud in a deep tone of voice. At first, it was pretty terrifying. We knew it wasn't any type of coyote or panther. Over the time, the brothers grew accustomed to the unusual howls, and when they attempted to intimidate it themselves, they were shocked. Shocked, I tell you, when the creatures seemed to answer back. Shocked! Virgil, a 44-year-old ambulance worker, said that he believes the creature's howls and let others know where it is, or maybe to attract a mate. So we got Wesley, who's a 51-year-old minister, and Virgil, a 44-year-old ambulance worker. Well, that makes them credible right there. It will definitely give you chill bumps. Virgil's chill bumps. You know what chill bumps is? Chill bumps ain't like goosebumps. Chill bumps is like the big goosebumps that like go right to the bone. Give you straight up chill bumps.
Tell me that's not the paramedic.
Yes, Virgil is the paramedic. You said give you chill bumps.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's all right. You get back in your car. You just got the chill bumps.
Get the chill bumps. Turn the heater on. Just turn the heater on. You'll be all right. You got the chill bumps. Hey, when the brothers told their friends about the strange noises, they said they were scoffed at. Ha! Scoff! Who scoffs at people? I don't. Have I ever been scoffed at? I'm not sure I've ever.
I've probably scoffed at you. I mean,
yeah. Other people look like Nellie Olson at my page every day, scoffing at me. So yeah, I get scoffed at a lot. That's right. And many didn't believe their story. That is until they heard the howls for themselves. That's right. We brought people out here night before. Wesley says we yelled, and I had the Bigfoot answer back. They were shocked.
Who's got the chill bumps now?
Who ain't got the chill bumps now, mother bammers? On one particular night, the brothers became so excited and agitated by the howling creature that they fired round after round from their shotguns in the creature's general direction in an effort to provoke a response.
Like dying.
Yeah, like falling on the ground and bleeding to death. It went crazy, howling and carrying on, Virgil said. I'd say that gunfire definitely irritates it. Well, imagine that. Shooting bullets at something irritates it. Since first hearing the creature 7 years ago, the brothers have had a wide range of strange encounters with the creature. It was out in the yard one day, and I heard it just tearing through the woods, Virgil said. It sounded like a bulldozer going through the woods, limbs breaking and snapping like crazy.
Diesel engine firing. Sorry.
The brothers also reported having heard the creature hit trees with a stick, and they believe that these knocks are types of warnings made the way the creature was communicates with others. They also reported finding limbs broken and trees pulled up by the roots. By the roots, I tell you, and stacked on top of each other across trails. The brothers believe the creature does this to mark or block his territory. Oh, well, there's a lot more that goes on with that story, and I don't think we're going to. That's a detailed,
greatest story
account there, boy. I mean, really. Well, 9 years of dealing with this Bigfoot-like creature. Check this one out at the lead 2010.blogspot.com. That's right. Just put up September. Finally, in the news tonight, we got another GoFundMe to tell you about, at least. The Bigfoot Field Guide Equipment Fund. That's right, the MABRC people. Daisies in a box. Do you remember Daisies in a box? If you don't remember the Daisy in the Box fiasco, well, sadly, that's you can go back on our channel and listen to that fiasco because it was a miserable thing. Anyhow, they want $15,000. $15K. Buy us our equipment and we'll get you a Bigfoot. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you find an area that might have a Bigfoot in it and get us some evidence? Maybe we'll fund you from there.
Yeah, something to go on. Anything.
Something. Just some new tracks. Something that makes us lead that you have an idea where new Bigfoot are. Anyhow, Darren, it ain't nothing personal, buddy. I'm just telling it like it is. $15,000 is a lot of cash to be asking from the Bigfoot community for something who's given us a fraud, so not so long ago, so big that it rocked everybody. It rocked all the money out of the Bigfoot world. I mean, any of the real research, it brought all this reality TV bullshit into the damn thing. It hurt a lot of things, man. And I just like to remind people of shit like that. I'll be reminding people of some other things here in a little bit they ain't going to be happy about either.
I can only imagine. Now I'm terrified.
Yeah, now you're terrified because we ain't talk about none of that during pre-show.
During pre-show. Right.
That's right. Here, let's give us a little bit of time for some quasi-theories from our quasi-scientist, Mr. Dean Koopster. And now, quasi-theories from a quasi-scientist with your host, Dean Cooper.
Does anyone really know what time it is? Night before last, when I was trying to come up with a topic for a quasi-theory for last night's show, I whined in a message to the Reverend Jeff that I was drawing a blank on said topic. He suggested doing one on time travel. I replied that I didn't believe in time. This despite the evidence of my hair turning white. He then gave me time to come up with a topic by moving the show to Thursday night, although it was not moved simply to accommodate me. Why do I not believe in time? It's because whenever I look, it's always now. I think we think time is real only because we look at time through the wrong end of the telescope of consciousness, so to speak metaphysically. Physics says the universe has 4 sensible dimensions: up and down, sideways, front and behind, and time. The number of necessary dimensions to account for everything below the atomic level are open to some debate, but 10 or 11 are broadly agreed on. But the now doesn't really show up as one of them, as far as I can tell, but it is there as an assumption. The old metaphysics of the ancient world took the now as the eternal basis for everything else. I will briefly discuss the Hindu version of this, 1, because I consider myself a Hindu philosophically, and 2, because they are still alive and can explain it. I will leave the Sanskrit terms out of it. What do I mean by the eternal now? It is that in which the past, present, and future appear to occur. It is that in which all individual discrete things exist. It is consciousness itself before the objective universe pops up. It is the ocean of all consciousness, unconditioned, pure beingness. There is no time as such. Time is a limitation that consciousness imposes on itself, so that limited creation can appear. There are 5 of these self-imposed limitations. They are time, space, limited power, limited knowledge, and desire. Desire for a limited objectified experience. These 5 limitations make an infinite number of limited beings within the ocean of all consciousness. Beings which include all the gods and goddesses, all the universes, galaxies, planets, us, what all there is, has been and will be. Anything which is perceived as an individual object is the result of those 5 limitations. The 5 limitations make us look through the wrong end of the telescope of our consciousness. They are the telescope of our consciousness. Reverse the telescope and you begin to see the now. The now is very quasi. Woo squatches know all of this, of course, which is why you must habituate them and learn to use those portals and mind speak with them. The ancient aliens taught them everything. This has been Dean Cooper, quasi-scientist, enlightening you with my quasi-theory of the week. You may read the text of this on my blog at bydean.com. That's BHAIDIN.com.
Wow. That's deep. Deep. Well, that's deep too, isn't it?
You done hit the wrong button there, Jim.
Hey, you know, that did happen from time to time. We all kind of have it goes off prematurely. Sorry about that.
You needed the spider bite. But so yeah, I was really just gonna burst into the song with, does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care? Yeah.
Gotta be back in time. That's right. Back to the Future's been on like all freaking week. Hey, time to give a little shout outs to the lounge to the people that are hanging out there in the live hangout tonight. That's right. Let's see who's hanging out there. Mr. Ryan McGinty. Sounds like Peter Griffin's freaking but retarded Irish dad. Ryan McGinty? No, I don't think that's his name. That's Sam Rivera's out there as well. Mr. Dean Cooper, our quasi-terrorist. 14/5/71 April. Is that your birth date? Were you born in 1457? I don't know. How glad you're out there as well. Let's see who else is floating around out there. Kush Tiger, Kyle Murrow is Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, Kyle Murrow. Hi, Kyle. Nikki Cologne is out there. How you doing, Nikki? Dave Jackson. Hey, did anybody tell Dave Jackson what time the show was tonight? I really didn't want him to miss it. David, if you haven't been in the lounge, you need to go in there and see what that was about. Let's see here. Who else? Starshine. There's a starshine waiting in the sky. Let's see here. Let's see. There's more people out there. If I didn't say hello to Roxy Marco, of course I'm going to again. I can never remember. I got such a bad short-term memory. I wonder why that is. Let's see. Dave Stump. How you doing, buddy?
Stump.
Kurt Harris, you're in the house tonight as well. Let's see here. Who else is out there? I know there's, some guy, this guy named Dave Jackson. I'm not sure if he was supposed to come in tonight. I don't know if he's here or not. You guys talk like a whole lot. Doc Rocks, how you doing, man? Glad you could join us live as well. Let's see here. Who else? I know there's more people out there. I'm going to miss the mic because there was a whole crap load of people here before the show. Collier Wilmas, how you doing, buddy? Cameron Young, he was going to try and watch on his Wi-Fi, but it was too slow. Sorry we missed you, buddy. Come back and check the archive. That's what makes it a podcast.
Catch it in post.
That's right. Fred Hepburn, not related to Catherine. Hey, glad you could join us as well. Let's see here. Who else is out there? Life and Times of JCM. That's right. The Jesus Christ of Monterey Bay, Mr. Jevin Moore. How you doing, buddy? We didn't get a camping tips for stupids for this week. He said he was going to take some time off and come back with it. So good luck to him. We'll be waiting for him as usual. Let's see who else is out there. We're getting close to it. If you haven't left a message in the live chat box, I don't know you're here, so I can't say again. Oh, sorry. How you doing, Gim? I had a little something in my nose there for a minute. My drunken Irish dad. I'm gonna go as the drunkest Irish dad for Halloween this year and see how many people actually get it. Barry Bishop, hey man, glad you could join us as well. Let's see. Namao, that's like ni hao. Yeah, bless me, thank you, I appreciate that. Don Rife is in the house as well. And I think that is going to be the end of them, so I don't miss anybody out there tonight. Thanks everybody for watching us live. We do appreciate it. And we're gonna now turn it over to the Idaho Bigfoot. Why would there be a Bigfoots in Idaho? Because Idaho's got some rugged ass territory, and I'm sure that Dr. Batdorf has got the old googly earth around to show us.
Oh,
looking at.
Thank you, Googly Earth. And the thing about Idaho is that there's a lot of barren plains land, but for the most part, it abuts all of the coolest places in in Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon, and in Montana before you get into the plains in Montana, even down here into Wyoming, like the best parts of Jellystone and whatnot. Really, really a cool area. And if you look at our sighting maps here and then you just take them away. Oh, hey, look, there's another big upwelling, much larger than this Cascade Range BS. And we have these the Rockies. Where are you? It's not gonna outline them for you. Sorry. This big thing right here is the Rockies. Oh yeah, there it is. That thing.
Boy, I expected the Rocky Mountains to be rockier than this. That John Denver is full of shit.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rocky. It's pretty big, and it's a lot higher than our Sierras or our Cascade Range. A lot further inland, but it has the same general effect that we always talk about, which is the high point, the moisture, the catching, and then back in. But Idaho is cool because it's got a couple of distinct higher ranges. One, you would have this side of the Rockies pouring back down and joining back into Oregon, and then these the Salmon River Mountain Range, which is actually a pretty decent, I didn't do my homework, but possibly volcanic, upwelling, or maybe it's just this is the drainage path. That's more likely now that I'm looking at it from this angle. But same thing we're always talking about. We have a dry side, we have a wet side. This just happens to be a little bit more inland, so we have a dry side. There's this dual rain shadow that happens in Washington, Oregon. I mean, is obvious. There's a dry patch, and then the secondary patch is this high mountain range where we talk about elevation and how everything is subjective. Is that in my area, the mountain nearest to me is approximately 10,000 feet above sea level, which is pretty close to the mountain itself. So this is a mountain. It's ice capped. It's glacial peaks all year round. These areas in the Rockies pretty much kind of just begin at 10,000 feet. These are much higher peaks. I'm not going to be able to do this on the screen share here.
West Goat Peak.
West Goat Peak. So the random peaks. I'm talking about the highest areas. We're still at 10,700 feet. There are higher peaks, higher areas, and this is there's not as much definition between the mountains and peaks in this area because it is also uplifted and
I know it's really cool area, and I make jokes, but I drove from Bellingham, Washington to Yellowstone once, and this is some really epic terrain through here. I can attest to that, having just even driven through it myself. It's huge, it's amazing. It's that big sky country in the mountains.
See, I want to buy property there in western Wyoming at the foot of the Rockies, where you can get 50,000 acres for like 50 grand. Yeah.
This is a pretty great area. And I mean, even, I'm partial to my home turf, but these areas coming down, on the east side of Washington and through like Coeur d'Alene, I might have already
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Coeur d'Alene, I might have already mentioned the, white supremacy. Okay, and then, but down through Montana and through Butte and all these areas, this is beautiful and perfect high country pine, and there's water everywhere. There's lakes, waterfalls, ravines, river valleys, and everything that you would look for on the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, just bigger and older, and amazing areas. So, what I always like to do is look at where is the viable area, and there's quite a bit in here, honestly. And once you get into this, the southeast Oregon, Nevada, it gets harder to see a large upright biped that's gonna have to drink every day. But then there might be this Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, kind of an area that's kind of a big deal. If we put this back over here, hey, look at that.
And it follows the green paths, just like we talk about.
It's so stupid just to be able to do this. And you're like, oh yeah, exactly that right there.
I mean, it just fills right in all over the rain shadows that we talk about from time and time again.
Yeah, so we'll just bring it up again, but yeah, I know a lot of people are thinking more like Boise and these plainsy areas with the rolling hills, and what we're really looking for are, I mean, these squiggly lines don't just happen without a river, right? We're talking about snow melt, drainage, and nutrients coming out of the mountains. Perfect. It's exactly what you got to look for, and exactly why you would think that there's probably something to all that. However, it seems like with Jeff's going to talk us through some of the most recent Idaho things, that everything that comes out of Idaho is about as reputable as things that come out of Russia.
Well, not some things. Well, here's the original one.
Mutually exclusive either.
Right. The Idaho Bigfoot sighting. High school student captures video footage of Sasquatch. That's right. ABC News is reporting that a group of high school students on a class project in the Idaho wilderness may have captured footage of the legendary missing link Bigfoot. According to the report, the students, who wish to remain anonymous, were on a school project near the West Fork of Mink Creek, south of Porticello, Idaho, when they spotted a dark figure watching them from the ridge above. One quick thinky student grabbed his camera and caught a short video clip of the mysterious creature. It didn't look human-like. I don't know what it was. It
was Bigfoot-like. So Bigfoot-like and human-like are the same thing, just so you know.
It's not a moose or anything. It was big and bulky and black, the student said. The students also claim to have pictures of the beast's ginormous footprint. I mean, it looked so good in the snow, too. While some folks have already disregarded the Idaho Bigfoot footage as a hoax, ISU professor and Sasquatch expert Jeffrey Meldrum, notice I didn't even put doctor in there, has examined the photos and the short video captured by the students and said that it may in fact be real. It nevertheless is a large stock figure that bears a striking resemblance to descriptions of Sasquatch, Meldrum said.
Is it Sasquatch-like?
Is it Sasquatch-like? I don't know. So there was, and that was back in 2012. That was back 5 years ago when this footage was captured, and it was an exciting thing during the Bigfoot. I was like, oh, really? Because it wasn't a well-known hoaxer. In the end, it went places. Finding Bigfoot season 3 on Cliff's Guide, cliffbarackman.com. That's right. Ripped from the headlines. He has a bunch of field notes here. The Idaho episode was filmed towards the end of June in 2012. It was the last to be filmed of the 10 or so episodes. They actually were on the road filming the season when they first heard of the Mink Creek footage. Brandon Tenement sent him the clip of it, and Dr. Jeff Meldrum visited the location to do some on-site investigation and comparisons. Since the initial investigation by these two researchers didn't turn up any signs of the clip being a hoax, we got the producers on the trail and started the wheels of motion to do an Idaho episode. The young men who filmed the Mink Creek footage were in the high school at the time, but had now graduated and were moving on with their lives. When the footage was obtained, they were in an area doing erosion studies for one of the science classes. While walking across the hillside, one of them noticed a dark figure.
I can't think of anything more boring to do at the time than erosion studies.
Erosion studies, exactly. Contracting against the snowy background on the opposite side of the valley. After taking a few looks at the figure and agreeing that it looked very unusual, they got out a video camera and started recording it just before they lost sight of it. That's about the only legitimate thing that I can think of that's come out of Idaho. Becky Cook is an author. She's written the books Bigfoot Lives in Idaho, and Bigfoot Still Lives in Idaho. Apparently,
the sequel.
Yeah, I have not read any of these. Maybe our boy Cameron's read them. I'm not sure.
Apparently, it's the same Bigfoot. Just filmed slightly darker and to the other side.
Sort of like the Todd Standing Michael Jackson Muppet. But you can get bigfootlives.com and you can read a couple of books about Idaho. If you remember, not too long ago, that's right, tanker truck hits and kills a Bigfoot on I-90 in Idaho. Bigfoot campfire story. You never know. Is it true? I don't know. But according to this, the fire burned up the Bigfoot and there wasn't any evidence left over. Listen to it live on youtube.com/SLounge podcast.
But if you're listening to this, you already know that.
That's right. With Dr. Meldrum being in Idaho, one would think if Idaho was a viable Bigfoot location, one would think maybe Dr. Meldrum would squatch in Idaho a lot. Maybe have a location in Idaho that he was investigating like maybe where the last Sasquatch was videotaped in Idaho. You would just wonder if that were the case and he lived in Idaho and worked in Idaho, that maybe he would research in Idaho. But that's just my thought.
Well,
I was just thinking out loud.
Who's to say he doesn't?
For the same reason that faith healers don't go to hospitals.
I think there's a sign at the door at hospitals like this. Specifically states, Big Pharma says, stay out, faith healer.
No, Benny, for you guys, not Benny Hill, Benny Hinn. Look him up. It's a horrible story. Anyhow, yeah, Idaho's a very viable place. The Rockies, for God's sakes, it's yeah, maybe not in the lowlands so much, but anywhere there's a rain shadow coming off of these highlands, there's still a chance. These animals were most likely here, either among us or before us, long before the colonialization of this continent happened. And I think they're still here, and I think that we're just pressuring them out more and more. We're going to see them less and less. Although that's different than all the actual BFRO sightings, because claims of sightings go up every year. So
we see it more and more.
Declination.
Part of that is the interesting the cultural.
Did I just make up a word? Declination?
Yeah, maybe. Well, but the interesting thing is the actual, like, the cultural aspects of this are what brings out the sightings. People are willing to talk about it, and when you have the media frenzy that something like finding Bigfoot and the BFRO aspect of that, all of a sudden the BFRO gets all of these sightings. It's amazing if you put on the overlay, get the most updated overlay, and just see how many more sightings there are. Is that an effect? This is the scientific. If you first must ask a question, and then you have to make your correlative study and then test it, which is possible. But anyway, so that's why this is not a good scientific study. But you would expect there to be more sightings after finding Bigfoot to the BFRO than to the BFRO prior to finding Bigfoot, because there wasn't.
They had visited every state and had town hall meetings.
Yeah, but people didn't even know that existed, and the Discovery Channel wasn't playing it once a week on Sundays, right? So once that happens, you would expect there to be more and there to be more data. So that's why I always love the historical data, the pre-Patty data, if you will, because there was definitely a cultural aspect of it, but it wasn't as virulent, quote unquote. It'll go viral, so yeah, that's the interesting thing. There's a lot of sightings in that area, but there weren't a lot of people that lived there until more contemporary times. And then when you see that, and then it just explodes after finding Bigfoot. Okay, yeah, I get it. But that's still, there's still great.
See what the reports look like in 100 years. If we're still getting more and more reports every year, continuing for 100 years, and it's definitely not the onslaught of finding Bigfoot fans, and it is definitely an upskirting in this animal's numbers.
Which would be interesting, because there's a lot of correlative data that, if we're doing. If we're trying to be good stewards to the environment, and we're protecting the cats, and we're protecting the wolves, and we're protecting that should thereby protect the Sasquatch too. So you could imagine that there would be a number of good sightings that continued. Footage would probably be, there'd be more of it, less reports, because there's some people that are, the more of the cultural aspect you have, the more false reports you're going to get, or people who are reaching or thought they saw something that they didn't actually see, like the shitter squatch. Sorry, Wes, love you. But then there could be an upwelling, if the population were to increase, of young, dumb Sasquatch, and there's more 4K, footage coming out of telephones right now than there ever was before. That, so, Apple has a telephoto fucking lens.
There's less and less. Yeah, there's less and less people going into the woods. I mean, with the pussification of American men and America in general, there are a lot less generations going out into the woods than there were before us.
I know a lot of people that still go out pretty deep, and if there were enough Sasquatch to run into them, they would take photos and then be like, what do I do with that?
Yeah. I'm gonna be one of you crazy bastards.
Yeah,
tell me they're going to kill my family.
So first off, don't put that on the internet.
Yeah, don't release it on Facebook.
The easiest way to make that untrue is to put it on Facebook, even if it is. So yeah.
If
anyway,
you guys out there have real footage, real pictures that you need somebody to really look at, I ain't even asking them to send them to me. Contact me. I'll get you in touch with the right people. You agree, David, with that? I mean, I don't want to be a middleman.
Although if there's something that I want to,
I don't want to be part of that chain of custody.
I want
that chain of custody to be well, we will see it, but we need that direct chain of custody to go from the some bitch that took it to the some bitch that's going to analyze it. Boom, boom, nothing in between. I mean, because just like that Hovey picture that turned into a friggin' lawsuit that turned into ridiculous shit. That picture had gone through Tom Biscardi. It had gone through a bunch of other people before it even got into Melissa Hovey's hands, before she put a copyright on it. And that just dirtied that whole thing up in the end of it. It was just like, I would much rather not even be in the middle of it and see it afterwards. Let the target send it to the analysis, let the analysis be done, and let's see it afterwards. As long as it ain't gonna take 5 years like Melba Ketchum's bullshit study did.
Exactly. Or to put that in the hands of of somebody who wants to do the actual work, or I mean, there's there's more to it than just putting it on Facebook for 15 minutes of fame. Remember that, folks. And remember that we will try to work you through that process. And remember that I haven't seen one and I'm really want to see it.
Yeah, I can totally. I have seen some private pictures out of people's collections, and I got to say, I wish I could share them with everybody. I haven't seen any that have 100% convinced me that they're real, but I have seen a few that I've gone, what the fuck is that?
What?
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like that. There are some things out there like that people aren't sharing because there is no proof of what it is, but it's the closest thing that we've had in a long time.
And let's be honest, like we've said 1,000 times, getting a good picture isn't going to solve the mystery. It's not going to convince.
It's going to get a bunch of money at it.
It's not going to convince the skeptics. It might even, like, would it convince me? I don't know, but I'd love to see it because I love this stuff. But you're not going to get past that next step unless you have something behind it. And yeah, if the right documentarian, the right news channel, the right whatever got involved, you'd probably have some backing. If the BBC, let's call Sir Attenborough and get this done right and narrated.
And now the Sasquatch will take its child and rip its arms from its socket.
Unlike the Himalayan Sasquatch, or
unlike the
Yeti,
Himalayan, where it dislocates the bottom of the foot, the American Sasquatch kills its young by ripping its arms from its sockets and beating it to death with them.
And this behavior has never before been filmed.
This is the first time we have ever been able to witness this event.
And the last time, I don't want to see that again. Oh my God.
Oh, shit, poor thing. Okay, guys. That's going to wrap it up for the Idaho Bigfoot this week. Hey, how do you know which one of the beauty contestants is a prostitute? She's the one that's wearing the sash that says Idaho. My grandpappy told me that joke in like 1979. I had to pass it on. God love you, Pap. Anyhow, yeah, so it's a very viable place. It's the friggin' Rockies, for God's sakes. But you got to drag each one of these people through the mud before they realize that just because it ain't the great South Pacific, the Pacific Northwest, doesn't mean that there ain't Sam Swash there. So, hallelujah. Come see us Monday night for Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly. And there'll be another Bigfoot Campfire Story released on Saturday. Thanks, everybody, who have liked it and shared it. Do more. Like it, share it on Facebook. It's got to do better than it's doing. So, yeehaw. Any last thoughts on the Idaho Bigfoot there, David?
No Bigfoot in Boise.
No Bigfoot in Boise. Yeah, I'm probably with you on that. Unless it's lost. Could you imagine what a wandering lost Bigfoot could travel?
For a long time, he's like, screw it, I'm going to Utah.
He just keeps sending pictures. All right, family. Thanks, everybody, for watching. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up. Oh, crap. Dean's big old head.
Hey.
Ain't nothing but a J thing. Bye.
Ain't nothing you haven't seen before this episode.
Thanks, everybody, for watching, and may the Squatch be with you. No, that's the wrong one too, damn it. Oh, it's gonna be one of them nights. Hey, if y'all want professional, go watch Joe Rogan.
Amateur hour.
Oh yeah, man. I can tell. If you're gonna be more professional at this show, yeah, okay, but somebody's willing to pay me more than 0.002 cents per view. We can talk about me a little more.
Wait, you get paid for this?
Well, the channel gets paid. The tax man gets all that.
You just got to earn enough to get up here next summer.
Yeah, that's got to happen because we're taking Eli Bigfoot with us.
That's right. And remember, it's legal.
Night, everybody.